So in this video, we'll be talking about how long it takes for you to get jacked. But the truth is, being jacked is very relative. We all have different definition of what being jacked means to us, because some people want to just get lean and build some lean muscle tissue, whereas some others want to get into bodybuilding. They want to look bulky, they want to look big with big muscles and muscle definitions. But regardless of whatever body type you're looking for, it is very relative, and it also depends on factors like your age, your genetics, your consistency, and how disciplined you are. Now, I won't bullshit you about some 2 weeks or 3 weeks transformation. I'll give you a realistic point of view from being in the gym over 4 years. I'll say that you can totally transform your body from the 6 to 12 months mark. And it all comes down to factors like your age, your genetics, how consistent you are, how serious you take your dieting, and how disciplined you are to sleep and do some other attributes I'll talk about in this video. But first off, when you start out at the gym, there is something called the newbie gains. Some people call it the beginner gains. This is simply when you start tearing up your muscle breaks down and builds up faster and gives you this little pump. So you tend to see quick changes as you begin out at the gym. I got my newbie gain and I was really pumped. This is really what kept me going in the gym when I started out, because I was very lean and I built up some muscle fibers and tissues. It really got me pumped. But my experience with the newbie gains is that it's kind of a trap, because when you start out at the gym and you get to see changes quickly, your brain sets this expectation that you keep seeing such drastic change continually. But that's the mistakes beginners make, thinking that their progress curve will go smoothly like this. But that's not how progress is. Progress is probably when you start out something new, an endeavor, be it at the gym or learning a new skill, you have this enthusiasm in you that gives you some quick rush of dopamine and some chemicals your body release. It's more like going from not knowing how to write a line of code or what the behind the scenes of what you see as a mobile app is, to being able to load up a coding editor, then being able to write some HTML tags and changing the background color. It makes you feel like you're now knowledgeable in what you're doing, but in the actual scheme of things, what is happening is that your brain is just getting accustomed to something totally different and unusual to you. So whatever progress you make at that time seems like a very big progress. But what really happens in reality is that after that peak of dopamine and enthusiasm, we have this decreased curve in enthusiasm and motivation. It goes way down because you tend to start encountering difficulties, tend to start facing the reality of what you got into. In coding, like I was using as a reference, you tend to get that quick dopamine and drop in intensity of that dopamine and motivation. I start facing the reality of things to understand there is more to what you just did. And another factor that plays on your progress and how long it takes you to start seeing drastic change or getting close to achieving your dream body is your genetics. We all have different genetics. Some people have fast metabolism, some people have slow metabolism. Age also plays a role. And also another factor is your consistency, which a lot of people struggle with. People start out at the gym, but they are not consistent enough to stay long enough to start seeing changes, because it takes a while. It takes roughly 6 weeks of proper training to stimulate your muscle enough to start building raw muscle tissues. And also your training knowledge plays a huge part. That was exactly where I was stuck. When you come to the gym, due to the spike of social media and having a lot of influencers, beginners tend to pick random workouts, and every day they go to the gym, they keep trying out new things. They don't have a structure, they don't have a plan, they don't have a routine, they don't have a program. I fell into that trap for around 6 months. So had it been I had a proper mentor, a proper coach, a proper grounded knowledge of what fitness is, and a plan to follow, I would have made better progress in a shorter time frame. And that's exactly what I help busy men do. I help you go from being out of shape, being overweight, to getting your dream body, all without counting calories and wasting long hours at the gym, because people believe that you need to spend 5 hours at the gym, 3 hours at the gym for you to train well and stimulate your muscle enough to encourage growth. That's not true. That's a lie. And also beginners tend to fall into the trap of comparing themselves to what they see online. That's another trap. I did not actually fall into the trap. What I did was I had some basic knowledge of what to do, and I just kept on going into the gym because I knew the gym was something that would help me turn my life around. I was hitting the gym, I was learning how to code, and while working out and building myself, I started finding myself, and the rest is history. I learned how to code, I got a job, I started seeing changes, I started meeting new people. My life started getting better slowly and gradually, and guess what? Here we are. And also getting jacked isn't isn't just about muscle. It's about your nutrition, your sleep, your time management, and your discipline. Those things I mentioned now must come into place because they play a huge role on the time frame it takes you to start seeing or getting your dream body. You have to take your diet seriously. You have to get at least 7 hours of sleep. You have to structure your workout in a way that suits your lifestyle so that you don't keep starting and stopping. That's one of the mistakes beginners make. They go with the vibe. They don't go with the vibe. Structure it to fit with your lifestyle. And if you're having a problem doing that, you can click the first link in the description below to see if you're a good fit for my coaching program so that I can help you do that. You don't have to go through the hassle of making the mistakes I make. What I'm actually giving you is my blueprint. I'm giving you my life lesson. I'm going to help you not make the mistakes I make or not be confused on what you're doing, because training is just like learning a new skill, speaking a new language, getting into a new country is something new to you. And depending on the mentorship you get and the path you follow determines how quick you get to your desired reality. And also, the major problem beginners have is that they quit too early. When you don't stay long enough to do it over and over again, to actually build the momentum and resilience it takes to get there, you will not get your dream body. That's why a lot of people are overweight. That's why a lot of people are out of shape. It's not like they don't want the body. It's not like they don't like people that are fit and disciplined. It's just that they quit too early. They sabotage themselves. And like I said, mentorship is a very great way to help you overcome this. And also, it's not about how hard you train for 30 days straight. It's about how consistent you can be at the gym. It's all about consistency. Consistency is the game. That's the blueprint. You can learn everything along the way. It might take you some time to learn. It might take you a short while to learn, depending on the route, whether you have a mentorship or whether you're doing it on your own. But regardless of the path you follow, if you keep doing it over and over and over again, you actually get there. You would get there regardless. Everything in life works that way. If you keep showing up to something over and over and over again, your brain tends to map out some neural network to help you achieve that goal. So if you're somebody that is having a hard time staying long enough to see results, or somebody that is contemplating on starting out at the gym, this is a sign for you to move. You have to act. Action begots momentum. If you don't act, you will not generate momentum to keep going. And like I said, you can click the first link in the description below to join the Iron Instinct method so that I can show you the step-by-step plan you can follow to get your dream body without counting calories, without wasting long hours at the gym, and without sacrificing your favorite food. Peace out.